Okay, so now it should come up. It may take a minute because it's delay, but it should come up. Hey, welcome. There's John. Oh, when John's here, we are ready to go. We are official. Huh, John? Yeah. Markham Neighborhood, and then she threw it over here. Nope, wrong way. This way. Okay, I'm going to do it differently this month. Normally I have a PowerPoint, but instead of having a PowerPoint this month, I'm just going to use the web and the website and click on things and see if that's better. Neighborhood, Markham. Meetings 2017, 5/19. Okay. Oops. Gotta remember to go to the right, not the left. Come on. There it is. Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm Donna Heron, President, and Markham Neighborhood. That's what we are tonight. And first what I'd like to do is open the meeting with introductions and just say what street we live on. So I live on 30th Avenue.
Jeff Wyhan on the Primrose. Eric Awake on Stanley Court.
Don't.
Ken Heron on 30th Avenue.
And here you're representing the client that doing the project on Southwest Road. Just here to let you guys know the project.
I'm with them. About the project.
I'm Jenna. I'm in the fourth place.
There you go. And she's.
I'm John.
And we got everybody? Okay. So first on order of business tonight is the agenda approval. So hopefully if you run up over there, you take a look at it and let me know if, I'll just go over here. If you approve of it, then we changes or revisions, then we'll entertain a motion to proceed. Meetings, financials.
And Don, I don't see anyone on them. Say a few words or anything.
Peter, we're going to put you under new business because it's a new ADU. It just seems fitting. Peter
Birch, using boy, R-I-C-H.
Yes, Lauderdale?
Yes.
Okay. So we have an addition on the agenda. Peter's going to talk about an ADU that he has applied for the city. And he's basically explained to us what he's going to do. Other than that, are there any other changes or additions? No? We have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, so John Given moved.
I will second.
Kim second. Any additional discussion? No? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? None? And any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. We move forward. Next up is the meeting minutes. Kim? There are no meeting minutes because Kim just had knee surgery. He thought he was going to do them, and he was a little bit on the sleepy side. So you have to look for him online. He's awake now, but yeah. So we'll have them next month, and in the meantime, look on the website. Up next is the Treasury Report, and it is on the back side of your agenda. Yeah, we don't have a Zahara here tonight, so I will answer any questions related to it. That one's blank. Then you don't get to know that. I'll get to know that. So, that was probably the original agenda. So, we have, still same amount that we had last month because we didn't spend any money, nor did we make any money. If you look in the part right here, I have to scoot up a little bit. Where's my mouse? There we go. We have $1,210.59. In addition to that, we do have a letter here from Fred Meyer from the first quarter of this year, January, February, March, where they awarded us, oh my gosh, it is really small, isn't it? It is really hard to see. So, we received $40.92 for the first quarter. We only have 6 households signed up right now. Last year, this time we had 15, which we got about $100 every quarter, so we're down on the contributions we received from Fred Meyer Rewards. So if you have a Fred Meyer Rewards card, please go online and select Markham Neighborhood because we use these funds for the projects that we do for Markham Neighborhood, including the upcoming movie in the parks event, and hopefully at some point the Safe Routes to School Trail. So, are there any questions on the Treasury Report? None?
No.
Okay. Then we move on. Committee reports. Up first, Mr. Monahan.
Actually don't have anything to report this month.
Okay, no reports from transportation. So we'll move on to schools, which Amanda is not here. And if there is, schools doesn't meet every month. She was here last month. So if there isn't anything to report, then she doesn't send me an email on it. Up next is the Public Safety Chair, which is shared with Mike Reuter and Phil Ford. And Mike was out of town, so Kim attended the public safety meeting where I taught the home health hazards hunt.
That's a good intro.
As your public safety chair. Okay, so public safety meeting, I taught the home health hazards hunt for anyone who's interested. These are handouts that I use during that. You take them home and you go through the little box to check off everything that you've done at your house or what you might think about doing. And it's two-sided. I have to switch it and I apologize for that. The police department, we had 3 officers there, reported that multiple crimes have been going on, including the shooting that was just real close to Capitol Highway, the Multnomah County Library. There was a shooting there. Holly Farm Parks. Guy was using a gun. It was actually, it looked like a really bad pistol. I mean, something that could really hurt you. It was beefy looking, but it had shot in it. It was shooting shot, not bullets. So, I don't know. Do you remember the name of that gun?
It was, it's called a Taurus, give me something, Judge.
Yes.
It's a handgun that shoots a 410 shotgun shot.
So this gentleman was pointing his gun at cars as they were driving by the library and Holly Farm Parks on Capitol Highway, and it frightened people. People called in police. Police came out there and found him, and that unmarked that was able to approach him from behind where he was watching the marked car. And the guy somehow made his way into an outhouse there at the park and shot some holes into that before they were able to take him into custody and take him downtown for a stay for a while. So in addition to that, there's car burglaries and thefts are happening around here, as well as calls. There's been somebody that has been going in people's backyards and trying to knock on doors and get in houses. Apparently this guy went into someone's garage, and then one neighbor watched this guy go into someone's house, and instead of calling 911, they just stood there and watched him from their home until he came out to make sure that he came out. You know, it's odd that people behave the way they do sometimes, but when they're overwhelmed or not sure what to do, they hesitate. So if you see crimes like that, if you see someone prowling around, apparently there was someone else that was standing outside the window, just looking in the dark in the night, about midnight or something like that. Just looking in the house, wanting a place to sleep. So just keep a lookout. We only have 2 police officers here at night in Southwest Portland. But if we have an emergency, they can run in all the way from downtown or wherever they are. But it's on us to report as much as possible, because that will justify more officers when the city has money to fund more officers and put more officers out here. So the more you report, and the more suspicious activity you report also, the more they'll be vigilant about being out here and cruising around. Any questions on that? Nothing? Anything else that I forgot that I said? Or they said?
No, just that it's summertime, doors and windows are open, be aware that burglars are more brazen than ever. Not just walking in the home, whether you're home or not, there's something involved. So just be vigilant.
Excuse me, are you talking about homes that maybe be unlocked or people that should break in?
While you're home and have the doors and windows open, so that when you are, somebody can just walk in the backyard, walk in their home. So it could be either way, or their home. Just summertime, the windows and doors open, and they open overnight, and the cool air, not as big a problem.
Also related to public safety is our NET team, our neighborhood emergency team. And our NET team, which meets tomorrow night at the fire station, anyone is welcome if they're interested in finding out what the team is practicing and doing and learning, and that you need us. They're doing an exercise on June 10th at the United Methodist Church on 24th and Hendersbury Road, or Lancaster runs into Hendersbury Road. And Habitat for Humanity bought the property and is allowing our NET team to be able to use it to practice rescue operations and so on. So the Fire Bureau will be out there with us on June 10th and overseeing our rescue operations and how we do things, and giving us tips and hints and, on how we could maybe improve our rescue operations and so on. So Markham Neighborhood NET. Phil Ford is co-lead. I'm a co-lead, so we do it together. We just completed our ops plan. It will be online. So if you're interested in finding out about neighborhood emergency teams and emergency responders, what they do, you can go to Portland Bureau of Emergency Management, or you can just Google Portland Bureau of Emergency Management NET for neighborhood emergency teams. It's called CERT in other cities except for Portland because Portland has a CERT SWAT team type. And emergency responders don't pack heat, so the city didn't want people thinking that, you know, we show up as net with our vests and our badges and our helmets and all that we're going to be packing guns and, you know, we don't do that. We actually help people, well, the police do too, but we help them in a disaster or emergency situation as opposed to intervening and restraining and all that other stuff that they do. That's much more dangerous. So up next, are you ready, John? Land use and watershed. John's wearing two hats. And so you'll do both committee reports? Yes.
Not much on watershed. I was late for that meeting. But we are working on mapping reports of problems that have occurred in the Southwest as a result of this really wet winter. A lot of them are over in a lot of the reports that we've gotten are over in the Markham Neighborhood. There's been some developments uphill along Spring Garden Court and in that area, and apparently quite a bit of water has come down and affected some homes that in the past hadn't been affected. That's not really too unusual. We saw the same thing happen in Quail Park when some of the houses were built along 25th, and it goes back to the problem of the city of stormwater detention facilities for individual houses that work pretty well, that basically try to infiltrate the water into the ground, which works real well in East Portland because they're sitting on a great big cobbled gravel bed from where the river washed through. But on this side of town were layers of silt from where the river made it. The floods came up, laid down silt that's impermeable, and therefore, even if the water sinks out of the water detention facility into the ground, which it's supposed to do, it's only going to run a certain distance downhill before it hits that impermeable layer and bubbles back up out of the ground. And usually in Southwest Portland, that's in somebody's backyard or worse yet in their crawl space or up against the basement wall if they may build a house with a basement. So doesn't always happen, but we're trying to map those and map other landslides and those kind of things that are all the result of the wet year and groundwater infiltration. So that's what the watershed committee's doing. The land use committee met, and probably the biggest thing for the land use committee is that we got a notice of adoption of the comp plan, which is the step that the city had to take before the appeal can be filed with the Land Conservation and Development Commission related to their adoption of the comp plan and particularly Multnoma's appeal of their decision to do the residential infill project, which I've described to you before.
I was testing the connection to make sure we were lining up.
Yeah, it's working. Okay, so that will, they have until 21 days after the 28th of April, so sometime around the 19th of this month, we assume Multnomah is going to file an appeal of the city's adoption of the comp plan, and we'll see where it goes from there. I'll keep you updated.
Do you know any other neighborhoods or neighborhood coalitions are doing that?
Not to my knowledge, but there may be some. Maybe East Marlin, they were talking about it at some point, but then they got some downzoning, so I don't know whether anybody besides Multnomah is going to pursue it. I'll update you on that, as we'll know by the middle of the month, and I'll update you next week or next month on that. The one thing for our neighborhood that I just got notice of, well, I just checked for notice of today, is the Pine Hill application. It was scheduled to be heard by the hearing officer tomorrow, May 10th, and it's been set over to June 21st. That's the moving the existing house and turning tract B, which is an open space behind the existing house, into 4 lots, one of which they'll put the house on, the existing historic house on. So that goes to the hearings officer on June 21st at 9 a.m. And then the last thing, sort of land use related, the Southwest Corridor project had another meeting of its Environmental Citizens Advisory Committee, who's advising the staff on their environmental impact statement. And then yesterday they had a meeting of the steering committee, which is a group of the politicians throughout the area that are talking about where light rail is going to be sited in our area, from, I guess you'd say, PSU to Bridgeport Village. And they're breaking, there's a number of issues to be discussed. They had a PowerPoint yesterday, which you couldn't get a copy of, that shows them talking about the issue that involves us in the early fall, which is whether they're going to put it either along I-5 or on Barber Boulevard. And there's multiple choices of how they do that. Could be all Barber, could be partially I-5 or partially Barber. The discussion that they're having now is their discussion about branched versus through in the Tigard area. There's, if they're going to go into this, are they going to go all the way into downtown Tigard with the main line and run it out down to Bridgeport Village, or are they going to split off and go into downtown Tigard with a branch line and take the main line directly down to Bridgeport Village? They had a report on what worked better, and the through line is, I guess the way it'd affect us is it'd probably be a lot better. I'm sorry, the branched line would probably be a lot better, because that means there'll be trains coming both from downtown Tigard and from Bridgeport Village, and at the busy times of the day, so we get essentially almost a double number of trains that they usually run. They usually run trains every 15 minutes, and because they're coming up from Bridgeport Village with one train and another one's coming out of downtown Tigard, we'd be up to about every 8 or 9 minutes during the heavier part of the day. The trains going into downtown or coming out.
That's good for us, Al.
Well, we just get more trainings. I mean, and for the people at Bridgeport Village, it's like the difference between if you go in and, how do I want to say it? It's like twice as fast to get to downtown, essentially. Because it's like a 9-minute thing to go over to downtown Tigard and then come up and out, where the main line would just run right parallel. So they think that it works out to being about 4,000 more riders a day, which is a pretty significant number on something where they're talking about 25 or 30,000 riders. Another 4,000 is significant. The only problem is it's running two trains with two, well, I guess there's not really a crew, there's one operator, but it adds to the cost substantially, so they're expensive 4,000 rides. And there was just a lot of discussion about it. No decision has been made. Obviously, the city of Tigard would like everything to flow through downtown Tigard. The rest of the decision makers seem to be more open to discussion. The only thing is that the transportation director for the city of Portland was there, not the transportation commissioner Saltzman, but Leah Treat, the transportation. And there's going to be because that many trains come out of that area, there's going to need to be trains turning around and coming back out of Portland, and she was concerned about the other end of the system down around Union Station, where they have to turn trains around. The plan is, the interesting part of the plan is we're going to be part of what is already an existing line. They plan to make this part of the green line, which is the one that goes all the way out to Sunnyside, the shopping center, Clackamas Town Center. So it's just going to be one great big long line. Half the trains, if they do a branch system, half the trains will continue on. The other half will have to be worked back into the system and come the other direction. So it's more mess in downtown Portland and more mess, I guess, out in Tigard. And the other thing that's come up is that all the plans now show that the branch or the through line going downtown Tigard would go down Beveland Street, which is a street
Right behind those.
Yeah, and people there have finally come to the realization that they're going to have a series of trains rolling by, and they're more than a little hacked off at this point. So we'll see how that plays out on the whole thing. So that's Southwest Corridor. As I said, sometime later this year, probably in September, they'll make a presentation and maybe a decision about what's going to happen with Barber and whether they're going to be I-5 or Barber or some combination thereof. And it's just too early to give you any information on that. So that's it.
John, did you say quarter mile or half mile?
Which?
The corridor.
For rezoning? For rezoning?
Yeah.
I believe that it's a quarter mile.
That's what you said in the past, but there's been some half mile.
Yeah.
The half mile. Government does this. The city said a quarter mile, and then they turned around and took a grant from Metro to study this kind of housing, and Metro wants it to be a half mile.
Of course they do.
But it's not on the table.
The residential infill project result is to come up with zoning that will have the infill zoning, which is basically I don't want to say multi-family zoning, but higher density zoning, not single family zoning for sure, for a quarter mile on the side of the road, or Barber. But Metro's paying them to do it for a half mile, and if you're really interested in what's going on the state level, there is a bill before the legislature that's pushed by the home builders and Thousand Friends that would make this kind of zoning required in every single family zone in the state. So,
Quarter or half?
everywhere.
Half?
Everywhere. Every place that you have single-family zoning inside the city, the current bill, 2007, requires cities to permit,
Multi-family?
well, not cottage clusters, duplexes, triplexes, and some townhouses in every single family zone in the state, ADUs.
That's within a quarter mile of the Treasury Report.
Everywhere, he said, within the borders of the city.
The bill that the home builders and Thousand Friends have put forward would mandate by the state that every single family zone in an incorporated city will have to allow those housing zones. So,
John, what do you think the odds of something like that passing are?
Thousand Friends and home builders on the same side. There's a housing crisis. I don't know. I really don't. There's a legislature that's pretty liberal and pretty panicked about all the inability of people to have affordable housing, and this is what's being sold to them as affordable. I personally think a lot of those kinds of the results I see in the neighborhood is, I'll give you an example. I think that there's some places where some duplex style housing makes sense. We had that proposal over there on Huber Street where the guy came in and proposed putting in a duplex and a narrow house so that the three houses were all up close to the street, and they didn't, because there have been several lots there that are big enough that were developed as flag lots, which have their own set of problems and create water problems because you have a lot more paved surface. You know, he proposed putting in three, but that kind of died in the recession, and it died because it was going to cost so much to put in all the infrastructure that's required when you split out three houses. Now we've got somebody proposing an ADU there, and that's fine. I mean, it's one instead of two if you think you don't want that much density, but the other side of it is the ADUs don't require all the infrastructure permits. So, you know, it's kind of...
When we delivered notices to Quail Park, if I recall, there were several, I don't know how many, structures in Quail Park that have staircases on like both sides and two addresses, but it's one building maybe with a zero wall or something like that.
that we have 8. 8 out of 94 in there are, 8 units out of 94 are in I guess you yeah, duplex, if you want to call it. They use the old word, I mean, common wall housing is the way. And I gotta admit, I knew for years that we had some in there, and it wasn't until last year when there was a problem with stormwater, and it ran down past one of the neighbors' houses and washed out the path, and we were looking at that. I found the fourth of the common wall structures. And it was less than 3 houses away from them, just down on the end of another cul-de-sac, and you really couldn't see it. So, I mean, some common wall housing is not a problem. It's the other stuff that comes with it. There's not enough infrastructure, then there won't be any big problem, whether the ADUs or common wall housing.
I guess that means John Stone has one.
I'm done.
Okay. Thank you, John. Parks and community centers, equity and inclusion and communications. Our chairs are vacant right now, so we don't have reports on those. When I get an email, I don't know of anything that's really newsworthy for our neighborhood going on. John, you were at the last board meeting.
Yes.
Anything going on with those 3 committees? Equity and inclusion, communications, and park and community centers.
No, not that I recall.
You were at that meeting. You said the swing board meeting?
And they're all working on projects, and communications is trying to decide whether it wants to be an operations committee or a standing committee.
Okay. All right, so we move on then to unfinished business. Unless there are questions on the unfinished business, I'm going to go over it real quick, and then we'll move on to new business. The Movies in the Park event is July 9th. It will be over here on the field, and it will be a fantastic be somewhere to find a Harry Potter prequel movie. It should be pretty fun. We're looking for magic acts for that. And a Somali group, a leader of a Somali group, says there's a high population of Somalians in this area. They want to participate, and so they've requested Somalian music to be played for the band portion of it before the movie starts. So it should be, and I guess it's pretty good music, so it should be quite fun. Bring a picnic if you'd like. There'll be food trucks, and just enjoy. So if you have kids, if they were too small to come, you could at least come during the daylight hours with the music. We'll try to have enough fun things going on for you. If anybody would like to volunteer to be part of the committee in planning this, please let me know. Habitat for Humanity. Oh, and the financial obligation on Movie in the Park is at least $750. That's the movie fee with Portland Parks. We have that in our treasury, but we're continuing to raise money through bottle drop. So if you have bottles and cans that are returnable, you're welcome to contact me or leave them in our driveway. We live on 30th, and I can give you my address. We take them to bottle drop, and they donate. They send the money to our nonprofit account in Swing, Help by Swing. Habitat for Humanity. I already talked about that. They have told me that they are not planning now to demolish the church for 2 years. So for 2 years we'll be able to use it. And at the conclusion, after the NET team's been using it to practice the emergency skills, and we're inviting other neighbors to join in it, they are going to allow the fire department to go in and do a final maneuver to do in the building, to kind of set a few fires in there and breach the roof and stuff, and so we don't get to participate in that. We might be allowed to watch, but we're definitely not allowed to participate in that. But they'll do a number on the building before it is finally demolished. Habitat says that they will not demolish the building so long as it stays vacant. They've had to board the windows up and doors because there was someone that moved in there and was trying to stay there. And so they took care of that with boards, and so far it's holding. But if that changes, somebody moves in there again, then they may demolish soon.
Well, it seems counterintuitive to tear down and burn up a church. They also said that they're going to go to great pains to remove all the materials that they can that can be reused from the church.
Right.
Either the rebuilding center or the pews, a lot of the wood, the wainscoting. There's a lot of musical things that come out of the church, so it won't just be for fire use to play with.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks they've been removing things that they could already get to other people that may need them. got a kitchen in there, for instance, and office furniture and stuff, since they've been already removing that stuff. Okay, so, Safe Routes to School, Jackson Middle School on 30th between Lombard and Huber Street. Oh, I'm sorry. Rain Garden, on 19th, John?
The notice, I checked, and the 30th Avenue right-of-way is part of the environmental zone, as is a part of the property just to the west of the right-of-way, the 30th right-of-way. So there's going to have to be some sort of environmental. Right now, I'm planning to meet with some people from the Bureau of Environmental Services on site sometime earlier, well, next month.
Are you talking about the portion that goes from Lombard Street to Huber Street? And crossing the culvert, from what I understand from Dave Manville, is you can't use grindings from ODOT because it's going over a creek and the critters in there won't like grinding.
They're going to have to get a permit from the city to build it.
Right, but what I understand is that part, because it is environmental, has to be clean gravel, and there's special considerations for also in that part too, so.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to get
Okay. So, any comments about the upper part of it, John, between Huber and Markham?
The only thing I would say on the upper part of it is that my daughter went to Jackson, and she described how she made Huber into a safe route to school by getting together and going with enough friends so that they could walk a group of them out in the street and slow the traffic. So, Huber is not the best place for a safe route to school. But
Right, no, we want them to cross Huber and continue towards Markham. We don't want them to walk along Huber. Okay.
One point in time, when you were discussing about being outside of the is that non-available?
no, that's still, several months ago, when the city was going through the plans as part of the comp plan process of identifying trails, the north side of the trail was designated as possible trail for safe routes. Southwest trails still would like to put an all-weather bike path. And there's a right-of-way there too. And, their thing is to use all unused right-of-ways for trails. So, I mean, they've got the designation, what it amounts to in the end is something that's going to have to be worked out for the
Okay, so you're saying between 35th and
between 25th and Markham on the north side of the park.
It's not, you gotta scroll up.
Yeah,
So it's just along the north side of the park.
it's just the property along the north side of the park has got a designation on it for a trail.
up here?
Yeah, beyond 25th. So if you get to 29.
Yeah.
It's just now cruising along.
I saw it.
That they show Trail 5 through here, but that's not accurate. It's just right along here. You can see, if you get up close, you can see there's a right-of-way, well, there's right-of-way on the back side of all these properties, and there's right-of-way in here based on this map. So they've got, in addition to the trail, the natural trail that goes through the center of the park, they've got this designation moved up there. So technically, this is in support of putting a bike path through there to create more of a safe routes to school. And that was part of the group plan designations. Wasn't it, Jeff? I think that they went through and designated trails as part of the transportation.
I don't recall that, but there was a trans-students project.
Yeah. So their idea is, and I guess I'll make one more point that you asked. That's not, you know, the issue is, this is not, when you come out, you can't get all the way up here from there. I mean, there's designated area, but if you look at 30th where it comes out, that just disappears into a bunch of driveways up there. It may be designated right of way, but it's not improved all the way through. It just serves as a driveway for these three houses here. So if you're gonna have kids coming out here, they're gonna have to go down the street and either go up 31st or come up through 32nd. And 32nd, there is a trail that comes down out of this subdivision and connects there. So they're gonna have to walk a ways along Huber to actually have access at this point.
Okay, so Dave Manville and I walked that a couple of weeks ago from 30th here to here.
Yeah.
And it's a dirt walking path, and it's kind of meanders back and forth. And there's some brush that, you know, you hit your legs and arms, so that would be trimmed back and stuff if you wanted to make it an official trail, but it is passable from there.
I guess my other question is, how many kids are there actually coming out?
It just takes one to get hit and die, John.
Yeah, Donna, but, you know, the ones on one end of that subdivision, I know can go to a bus. Those buses that come through some of that lower area.
Yesterday and today, I sat down there at 35th and Huber and videotaped children crossing the intersection. Also did it on a day last week. I haven't gone back and counted the numbers, but there are children that are walking along 35th and 35 mile an hour zone trying to cross that street and that intersection. So, without stopping them and asking them specifically where they come from, which, you know, is kind of stranger danger stuff.
There are kids coming up from the apartments.
They don't need to tell me where they live, that's stranger
No,
danger
you
stuff.
don't want to do that.
Okay, so moving on. Jeff?
So, I think it would be, there's the Southwest Motion project, the transportation. And a big part of that is active transportation.
Right?
No, we have another, but it goes from,
No, but you got the map from Dave and he was here, right?
I do, yeah.
To mark our route.
Yeah, that's, yeah. But, yeah, we should probably have somebody involved with this green project, make sure that this is something we want to do, then make sure that we get some of the cities.
So are you volunteering for that?
No. I mean, something
It's in transportation. I'm just interested in the children that I saw trying to cross the street that scared the heck out of me. One day I saw them running because a car would slow down. And that's when I thought, you need to do something. So,
Question, 35th is
35th and Huber.
and Ridge, to get to the bus stop.
Yeah.
You went out there, just as bad. Not worse.
Okay, any other comments? So, rain garden on 19th and Taylor's Ferry Road. They've been trimming and getting ready They're supposed to put notices in the mail to all the homeowners along that route. I haven't heard that they actually did that yet. I didn't receive one, and I was supposed to receive one. Jeff,
I haven't seen it anyway, but they've been working on it. They were out moving the utilities around, PGUs out there, taking out those, and they cleared a lot of brush already, cut down some trees. So,
that's in anticipation of the contractor starting. And the holdup on the contractor was that the last I heard was the contractor needed to submit insurance documents and legal documents basically to be able to be a contractor for the city. So I haven't heard whether or not that's passed yet. I said that Jeff lives near there, so he's kind of like our eyeballs on there. So.
right up and down 1940 days, so.
And he has brand new motorized cargo bike.
They're carless now.
Yeah.
So they already put up the street too. If there was big traffic, folks across the Taylor Road, it's all in stuff green.
On two?
Yeah, it's got metal plates.
Northwest Natural is up there, and they've got big steel plates and criminals and that.
Good. Well, maybe that's what they'll do across the street.
Medicare Park. No developments. They were traveling and not available through the Easter holiday, and so Mike has been our liaison on that project about the ferry doors. And right now he's shaking his head like, no, they have not surfaced yet.
Yeah, we circled through the last one, I checked the code was last week, so I gotta circle back and just keep it set another time.
Okay. So, and board vacancies and nominating committee for summer elections. So if anyone's interested in filling one of these vacancies or taking over a filled vacancy, a filled position right now, they're more than welcome. So unless there's any questions on the old business, we'll move to new business and go home. And so National Night Out and Peter Barrett will go first because I've talked enough. So Peter has an ADU application in. You wanna?
Yeah, so I'm representing Mary Hill and Bill Pond, to live at 3411 Southwest Lauderdale. They're building a detached ADU accessory dwelling unit for as kind of a secondary studio for Bill and as family housing, because they've got kids that are going to come back and live with them in a small house. So, brought along a site plan and a perspective. If anybody wants to come have a look, I'll just set them up here. If anybody has any questions or concerns about it, I've got some cards here which you can take. Feel free to call or email. Basically, starting in July, Bert Hansen, the
Something else?
yeah, there it is. So the ADU is going to be in the backyard. You'll be able to see the roof line over the top of it, but otherwise not much. Yeah, Bert Hansen's the contractor that'll be there in July, and he's a wonderful man, and very nice. I'm sure Mary and Bill and mine, if you have questions or concerns, just stop by and ask them. Of course, they're available as well. So there'll be a little bit of construction noise for a couple months over the summer, and probably a couple trucks coming and going, and that's where they'll be.
So this is going to be a mother-in-law apartment type setup. It's going to have kitchen and bathroom and bedroom and...
Yeah, it's basically a big one story with kind of a storage loft, and they've got a kitchen and bath on the rock floor with basically just like a big open studio.
You live on Mardell. You live on Mardell?
Are you doing max or are you limited the size?
We're limited by the 15 feet, basically. We're not going above 15 feet, but still matching the siding and the trim.
No.
Right there. You're just off the bottom.
Right here?
Antioch Church is just below the bottom of the screen, that's right. Okay. That's the one who's got the deal. Yeah, that's. Brad Don hasn't been there.
Yeah, it's like, I want to know that person right there.
Yeah.
6 weeks in the middle of summer.
Yeah. Good, thank you. Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Oh, yeah.
Of course it.
You know?
Thank you. So no questions, somebody have
And
any
you're the
questions?
architect?
I'm not the architect of the record, but, I was designing the project.
Designer. Yeah. Right?
Okay, so, thank you. So National Night Out, everybody remember what National Night Out is? It's the first Tuesday in August, I believe, first Tuesday, I have to look back. We normally have, the last few years, we've had the movie in the park here at Jackson Middle School. And then, that's for anybody to come. And then over at the Marigold Hydro Park on 17th, between Spring Garden and Taylor Scarry, we have our National Night Out. And so it kind of helps with, we're kind of geographically separated from the other part of the neighborhood. There's our neighborhood is butterfly shaped. So we've got this part here, we have the movie in the park, and over here we have our National Night Out. And so if you would like me to put in the permit application for the National Night Out for Marigold Hydro Park, and I can do that. Last year Eric was our DJ for that, and we had a potluck, and police showed up, and fire truck showed up too? Just police, okay, fire truck. Sometimes fire truck shows up too, so, and we have some fun activities and games, and it's just basically a get together for the neighborhood at Marigold Hydro Park, kind of a smaller gathering. Usually we have, 100 people there. So if you'd like to do it again, you need to have a motion.
What day is it?
It's, I believe this year, it's like the first Tuesday in August,
So that is first.
August 1st. So,
And I don't remember what the logic is behind it as to why it has to be on that particular day as opposed to maybe like a weekend.
well, it doesn't have to be that day. That's the official national night out that is all over the country. But the city allows us to permit it within a week of that date, so we can go either side if you like. So it's your choice. If we have more than 100 people expected, we have to pay for porta potties. So and I think we hit 100 or less each time. So you can pick another date. I can pull the calendar. And if what you're looking at, a weekend day or something, a weekend, Eric?
I would suggest perhaps maybe a Sunday might draw more people.
Okay, our movie is on Sunday too, so.
We had them on Saturday and had, I think we had a turnout for 19 minutes, but we worked a little harder to get that turnout too, and some of the evening meetings, I don't want to say.
Here we go. Okay, so here's
We
August.
did more advertising on this side.
Here's August.
Get a turnout
Working
on a weekend. The weeknight, you get more of a northeast and crowd. People from the
Close by.
close by.
Proximity.
Okay, maybe I should go.
You're saying, hopefully, you said it's plus or minus the permit of week of August 1st?
Yeah, so you can go anywhere from 25th to the
And the movie in the park is what day?
8th, July 9th,
July, early July.
Sunday.
Early, it's almost a month prior to this.
Where's garbage day? Garbage day.
It's your calendar.
So you're already posted.
August 1st in lieu of a meeting, is that the idea? Or
Yeah, we did not have a meeting in the month of August.
Right.
And our elections occur sometime in the summer months. It just says summer months, so we tried to do it in the past on that night, the national night out. It doesn't work. There's too much chaos.
No, it's not.
Nobody's in the mood to talk business. So I think we should just relax.
Yeah.
Where does school
June
start?
is the summer, right?
June or September. And we did get our CUB extended, so we can meet here in June.
Oh,
So,
great.
we don't have July nailed down now. So we can skip one month, so we may have to skip July. Oh no, we have our movie night. We can have a mini table.
So again, the meeting night is July 9th. So
July
we're looking at the end of July, really August.
Right.
Yes, so if you would like to have National Night Out, with all your neighbors, sit around, is Eric volunteering to MC it again? He did it at his own expense too, he paid for it too.
Okay, so you would want to do it on like the 6th then?
Either that or the 30th, I mean,
I'm kind of agreeing with
You want to do Sunday,
the 6th of
not Saturday?
Yeah, I would.
Then we could take a tally and raise a hands for Saturday or Sunday. How many people want a Saturday? Just raise your hand. And one, how many people want, two Saturdays? Do Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay, so Zach's a Saturday person. And how many Sundays? 3 Sundays? Okay, and, no cares or not interested? Okay. It looks like Sundays goes,
Yeah.
but a choice of 6th or 30th. Show of hands for the 30th of July. And show of hands for 6th of August.
It doesn't make any difference.
I'm pretty neutral.
Would you come anyway?
Yeah, if I could close it, I couldn't find it.
You never found the park? Then you and I are going for a drive.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna come with you.
We'll get a map.
What was the vote? 6 for 30.
0 for
Put
the
up more
6th.
songs.
0 for the 6th, my hand's up in the air.
Okay, a show of hands for August 6th. I'm sorry, 0 for 30th.
And there were several names up to the 6th.
Okay, show of hands for 30th, none. Show of hands for the 6th, many. Alright. It's, more than none is it. Right, more than none is it. So then you'll put there's another motion for it right now. So all those in favor? Huh?
Unless you vote, there's not a quorum here tonight, so I don't know if it matters. If it's not like a motion going to.
I can only vote if there's a tie.
Well,
That's right. You're right in office.
Zeta,
is that a,
Burton,
hang on a second, is that a?
he's checking the quorum, Zeta. I believe Zeta's been here more than twice. She qualifies.
Yes, she has, Zeta is the.
Zeta, you did. You are the lucky star for tonight. We have to have 7 or more that have been here twice in the last 6 months. In order for a vote to pass. So you're it. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
I'll make the motion to
Definitely.
have the national night out on August
John, wait,
6th.
just raise your hand, yes.
Yes. All right, that's it. I made the motion to leave it at night out on August 6th at the Hydro Park.
Yes.
I'll second.
Eric seconds. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Those opposed? Those opposed saying, oh, I didn't do the discussion part. Are we done discussing? Okay. And those opposed say no? And those abstaining? Okay. And Jeff is bringing the beverages. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, I think neighborhood watch upcoming training. Anybody interested in a neighborhood watch training? Zeta, you missed our first one. And
What's involved in this?
it was about this time last year. Mark Wells came from Crime Prevention Office, City of Portland, and trained us, but he trained me that I could be a trainer in Indian Hills. So I can have another neighborhood watch meeting if you want to join the group. The other question is paint the neighborhood orange. And that is the Keybot Vision Zero signs that you see out throughout the neighborhood. If you have 6 signatures or more. And I put the forms over there. I have some signs on hand, more of the metal signs than the plastic corrugated, but I can get some more. So if you're interested in doing that to help raise awareness for people to slow down.
Does it help? Does it help?
Yeah, some people have said, the people that I've gotten feedback from, yeah. But it's really important to move them around. You can't just leave them in the same spot. Anything else anyone wants to bring up? Any other concerns? Questions? Okay, so I already mentioned that the NET meeting is tomorrow night at the fire station. And Sweeney Public Safety Committee is June 1st. Markham Neighborhood, our next Markham Neighborhood meeting is June 13th, and I was able to get our CUB permit extended because school is kind of in a gray zone right there. And then June 14th, NET the following night. June 22nd, we're having a guest speaker, Oregon Resilience Plan. This gentleman is an architect, and he will be speaking in the auditorium of the Multnomah Arts Center. You can only have like 4 of these. But you can take a look, pass it around, and then flip a coin to see if he gets to keep it. I have to get some more from Sylvia. But this gentleman is going to talk about Southwest Portland and the impact of the earthquake in our area, and things that we should be doing in that. So if you can't put that on your calendar, Fantastic Beasts and National Night Out. So we're changing that National Night Out to the 6th, right?
It's best.
6th. Okay. At the Marigold Hydro Park.
Oh, John returned?
Yeah, we did. We had to go have a conversation out in the hall. Anything else anybody wants? Mr. Vice President, you have a job to do.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. All those in favor, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Hey, I just want to say, before I say we use adjourn, motion passed, we are 20 minutes ahead of schedule. I'm so glad you came.
That was last Thursday?
The crime prevention, or the public safety meeting? We have, that's at Southwest Neighborhood's public safety committee meeting, and that's on the first Thursday of every month. And I'm chairing that currently until, yeah, but they come every month. So, they have a proposal on the table to take over our meetings, the public safety meetings, every other month, but that was tabled, and because we countered it with doing it quarterly or twice a year. Yeah, so it's still not decided yet, but right now they're coming every month. We had 3 officers at it, and we talked about the crimes in the area, and it's basically for a roundtable type discussion with the community if they're concerned about crime problems. I suspect that once we get all this mass transportation coming in. Yeah, Zed has been here forever. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned some things. Lots of stuff going on. We have a neighborhood website, which I struggle to keep up, but, and also, are you on Nextdoor? And so are you not on Nextdoor? Nextdoor is a community website where we can post things of interest within our neighborhood, and it's specific to only people in Markham neighborhood. Every neighborhood has one. I have it on the neighborhood website. I think I have your email address on that sign-up sheet, Don. Did you give your email address? I can send it to you. Yeah, oh, and constant contact, yeah. I can, by putting your email address on there, I can send you notices when we're having our meeting and stuff, so yeah, I can send you, word of caution on Nextdoor is, when you sign up, uncheck the box to get emails. Because every time somebody posts something, or posts a thank you for somebody that posts something, you get inundated with emails. And so if you uncheck that box, then when you feel like going on Nextdoor and seeing what people have to say, or they're lost. Yeah, a lost pet. Yeah, a lost pet. I'm looking, if you want to have a garage sale, or if you want to get rid of your lawnmower, it's just a site where the neighborhood can post and communicate with one another. But crime reports are on there too, and the city uses it for the reverse alerts. So if there's something major going on, they'll do the reverse alerts, and like the Amber alerts and stuff like that.
But if you check not to get those alerts,
I think you can check to get those. You can have a choice on that, and you also, I think you have a choice if somebody replies to your, if somebody has a post and you reply on the post or comment or something, say, oh, geez, good luck or whatever, or glad to hear you or whatever, then once you reply on a post, then it starts notifying you. You can have it. So if one that you're interested in, that you are involving yourself in, it will notify you on. So it's just, there's levels. And so what I'm saying is, so it's just a couple check boxes. So, but initially it can be, overwhelming because it's like too much information. And then every once in a while there's someone that gets on their soapbox. Or, and you just have to be able to walk by those. It's just like when you're walking downtown, there's someone there that's on the sidewalk that's camping out and being obnoxious, and you just take a wide berth and you just go on with your business and go on past them. Same thing on Nextdoor. Just ignore them, because Nextdoor is a good place to be for finding out what's going on around, or, hey, I need a couple kids to come over to my house and rake some leaves or something like that, they'll show up. I mean, they'll chime in and say, hey, I've got a couple kids that I'd like to, send out. But, so you have to be able to pick and choose and be able to not get emotionally involved when someone ticks you off, because just like anywhere else in life, they're out there. Those landmines are everywhere. You don't want to go to swing set? Yeah. Well, those ones that are in parks, those tall ones? The little backyard ones are too short, but the tall ones that are in the industrial, that don't tip over, there's something about a swing. And when I'm on a swing and I'm going up and down, I can't stop giggling. I just start giggling. My stomach falls, and I'm just all full of giggles. I just can't help it. I'm just, yeah, huh? Yeah. This one would make me giggle. Thank you for coming. Merkel? 17th.
Martin's on 17th, goes around, and I thought, is that the guy that, the school maybe?
Yes, there is, on one end. On one end, there's the Sinclair School, and across the street on Spring Garden is the Capitol Hill School. One's public and one's church.
Yeah, okay. So which way?
It would be towards Taylor's Ferry. A big, huge water, it's a bulk. This is our, it's right on the left side of the road. So you were probably so intent on looking at street signs that you didn't even look up. That's what happened. I know that's what happened. That had to be what happened. Yeah. Because that's it. That's what you see when you drive by.
I was late, but I was trying to find the car.
From here? Yeah, you have to go out the front of the building and it's that way. You're looking west right now. 35th is right behind you. Correct? To 17? There's a hill right there. There's a hill. When you turn off at Taylor's Ferry, there isn't a road to the right. It's only to the left. And it's a steep hill. And if you go in that direction, it's on your right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm so sorry we missed you.
I think I had something else to do about that.
Yeah. Yeah, probably July, because it's supposed to be in August. So maybe July 29th, I think it was. Yeah. Well, this is the type of event where you can come anytime you want. You can come and go anytime you want, because it's just potluck, you know. So people come when they want, you know, get off work or feel like coming, or, you know, they leave. Plus, there are no restrooms there.
It touches three different neighborhoods.
Phil Ford,
Yeah, this is
Marigold
So
Hydro Park.
Coming down.
You see it?
So it's kind of the red line.
On 17th Avenue, between Taylor's Ferry and Spring Garden. I can show it to you up here on the map. Okay, so Taylor's Ferry. There it is, right there. All right. So, are you watching? So, if you cut, let's see, I'll get rid of the terrain. If you come out of 26th and Taylor's Ferry right here, because you live on this street, you live right in here somewhere. So, you come out on 26th and Taylor's Ferry, and you go around this curvy curve right here, and it's the very first left after the curvy curve.
And the signs are hard to see.
Do you know where that flashing light is on Taylor's Ferry, right here? That flashing light that gives you your speed limit, or speed?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the curvy curves right there. So as soon as you pass the curvy curves, there's this one right here in the curvy curve. You keep going, and it's the first left.
Okay.
And then it's right there on the right. On 17th. Right, and if you go too far, you end up where the Catholic school is. Or the Capitol Hill Elementary. So it's between Taylor's Ferry Road and Spring Garden. Yeah, it says Marigold Hydro Park. Right here. Oh, wait a minute, no. That's not going to show you. We'll get back to it right here. Okay, that's the dance hall. There's an old dance hall right there. Yeah, I'm zooming in. I'm trying to zoom in. Okay, let me, I think I turned myself around too. It's really scary. This is just Google. Okay, there's St. Clair School. Okay, so I'm going to go right down here onto the road, and there's a sign right in front of it. And the sign is right there. Right there.
Okay.
Yeah, it says Marigold Facility.
I don't understand that. You're right.
But right next to it is this building that looks like an old Granger Hall. Eric, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Old dilapidated looking building. MC for us? And see that, oops, he does the MCing.
Oh, MC.
He's famous. He traveled around, was it with McCarthy? He was his personal assistant. Yeah, London and everywhere else. You're in the company of a famous, yes.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's right across the street from you.
He does, almost, practically. Probably throw rocks at each other.
No, I don't get to do that. I sneak up, come out, and maybe I'm probably gone.
The only time you've probably seen me is when I walk up and down.
Yeah. Okay, well, this Mark is,
Like facing Rockville House,
Neighborhood Watch, yes. Would you like me to,
is that something like
if you would like to, you may. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Nobody, there's no rules on that. What it is I'll outline the Neighborhood Watch material, and, you know, and we'll add you to the phone tree, so that if there's something going on, we call each other, and give you the numbers that you need to call, and if you see something that's suspicious, or, you know, it's just basically, the more people that are watching what's going on and reporting, and that includes abandoned vehicles on the street, so on. The more that you do that, statistically, the crime level stays down. When people ignore those types of some things you can just, do you have a cell phone? A smartphone?
What do you need to know?
Do you have a smartphone? You can use PDX Reporter. And you just, when you see like an abandoned car, you just pull up PDX Reporter on your phone, and this is a little app, and it takes a picture of it, and it triangulates where you are, and you click a couple of buttons and say abandoned vehicle, and it will make a comment if you want, and you hit send. And it automatically knows where you are. You took a picture of the problem that you're reporting. It could be, you know, rising hazard or limb in a tree or something, you know, whatever. And it routes it to the right office in the city of Portland to investigate whether it's parking or PBOT, and so on. And it just helps, it's more efficient than calling and waiting on hold and giving you information, all that. You don't have to do that anymore.
That's why I'm asking.
No, and it's anonymous. I mean, even though you're giving your information, they want to know that you're legit, who you are, but it's not public record for anyone who wants to know who reported it. But if you have a problem with that, though, you call me, and I'll go, or Eric will help you too. And I'll go down there. If you see something that's, you know, not right and you want it reported, just call me. I'll come down there and I'll take the picture. It'll come off my phone.
I'll do the training.
Okay, the neighborhood watch, I'll call you and we'll set that up. Did you leave your phone number on the sign-in sheet? I think I have it out. So I stopped streaming and I stopped recording.